Okay, what we're going to do now before our next coat is we're going to scuff this surface. We want to try to remove the gloss. We don't want to scratch through the PART20 back down to bare metal. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a clean wire brush and a very, very light touch. And we're going to scratch horizontally and then vertically and create a crosshatch for the next coat to adhere to. This will also remove any loose sand from the surface. Now for a lot of this detail work, hard to reach stuff, I have a very small brass bristle brush, and you can really work around some of these contours and stuff and get those scuffed. Again, we're just trying to remove some of the gloss. PART20 recommends using a 320 grit Scotch-Brite pad. This is that's not going to happen on this with that sand in the surface. It'll just eat the Scotch-Brite pad to pieces. Now again, the key is a very, very light touch. We do not want to get back down to bare metal. This is really a testament to how durable this PART20 product is. You can see after we come across, you can really see that gloss disappear. That's what we need. There you can see there what's obviously been scuffed and what hasn't. We're going to be sealing up a lot of these seams on the bottom of the cab today using two different products, both 3M. This is a 08300 seam sealer, and we're going to be using the 08656 that we used in our doors also. This is a brushable, this is a caulking gun application. Now, a couple of the tools that I find useful are some synthetic bristle brushes, and I usually cut the bristles really far down. And then a spackle knife, and for those hard to reach areas, a popsicle stick works. So let's get to it. Now I'm going to be using this caulking gun for the harder to reach areas, and then we'll use the brushable for a lot of these seams that are easier to reach. A tip you often see used is taping off the edges of the seam, applying the seam sealer and peeling the tape back. It gives you a nice defined edge. We're not worried about that underneath here, and as a matter of fact, we actually want our edges feathered down so that there's not a hard lip. So we won't be using any masking tape in our application today. I should mention, this is a tan sealer, which helps keep track of where we've applied, as opposed to a black one, which would match. Before that skins over, I'm going to take my brush and add a tiny bit of texture to that. Very lightly go over that. You know, and I feel that if back in the day we had a lot of these chemicals and products that we have available now, a lot of these panels would have been sealed together. They just didn't have what we have available now. Okay, now before this skims over, remember we're going to put a little bit of texture on it. This product dries in about 40 minutes. You don't want to depend on this stuff for clogging up huge holes, but for going over a lot of our welded seams where we have small pinholes, this stuff's a lifesaver. You know, where it just wouldn't be possible to weld two panels solid together and you had to tack, this really saves your skin in the long run. Another thing I'd like to mention is You might look at this product going on and go, oh, that's just like silicone that I can buy at the hardware store. It's not. I can't emphasize that enough. Save the household products for the household and stick with the automotive specific products for your vehicle. Don't try to intermingle the two. Around these welds, you really want to work it in there both directions, kind of force it in behind the panel and around those welds. You know, this is just one more step that you can take in making your old classic vehicle drive and sound and act like a new vehicle, like a modern vehicle. This is going to help with wind noise, with rattles, with heat control. It is nice having the extra tool in your arsenal, the caulking tube, because you can really pump it back in behind the seam. It's a little bit harder to do with the brushable. As I mentioned when we were doing the coats of PART20, these ugly welded seams, the more and more that we go over them and add products to them, the less ugly they become. You can fight and fight with a lot of this rusty old metal on these old vehicles, trying to get a panel welded in solid and watertight, weather tight, or you can get it welded in as best as you can. Make sure that your panel's not going anywhere, and then come back over with a synthetic material like this and finish up what your welder couldn't, and end up with a pretty nice job when you're all done. Third pair of gloves, you can see that the sand in the PART20 is really, really, really abrasive. Now, this is a product that stays flexible. And you don't necessarily want a high build on a flexible product underneath your undercoating. So we're trying to keep it to a minimum, very thin, whenever possible. The reason we're doing this over top of the PART20 and not over the bare metal is that a lot of these sealers aren't rated for direct to metal. Some of them are, but they perform better when they're put over top of a paint. The other thing I want to mention is it's very easy to just work at eye level, looking down on all these panels, filling in all the holes in the seams. It's very important to look back up from the ground. Don't be afraid to move around, because all of these panels have bottoms also. Just like when you're painting a vehicle, you've got to look at your job from all the directions, not just one direction. It'll give you a much more complete job. Okay, we have a quick change of plans. That single tube of seam sealer went a lot further than I was anticipating, and we've got most of our seams done. We didn't even have to touch the brushable. So, given the weather situation, it's really a nice day today, and the fact that this is a quick drying, it requires about a 40-minute window before it can be painted. I'm thinking what we're going to do is go ahead and spray some bed liner